Hello, everyone. Welcome to the tip of the month from Premier Wealth Management. This is the January 2021 tip of the month. And today we're going to be covering the plan and proposed tool in Wealthport. So quickly, I'm going to show you how to access the tool. You're first going to come to the Cambridge homepage on the website. Going across the top, you're going to see the Wealthport option. You'll select that, and that'll open up this window. From the left-hand side, you're going to select plan and propose, and then that's going to move you to this plan and propose tool that you see right now. So the plan and propose tool, in short, is just a quick financial planning tool. Instead of using eMoney or Money Guide Pro or the new Click Advisor software to generate, a 25, 30, 45-page document, you can do a simple plan and propose here in Wealthport. This is really just covering the asset accumulation, and then asset distribution once a client retires. So in order to get started with plan and propose, you're going to select a client. Now, this can be an existing client or a brand new client. If it's an existing client, you can simply search for them, and if they're on your client list and click, they're going to show up on this list. For the tip of the month, I'm going to go and use just a test client. So this client's obviously not on our list. So I'm just going to name them test client. They're an individual, and create the client. All right. So you're going to see the options here are model change and new account. We're going to do new account. Model change only really comes into play when you have a cap account and you want to change the model in the cap account or the UMA or the small account solution. So we're going to do a new account here. And first, we're going to pick accumulation. I'm going to skip over the risk tolerance questionnaire. That's just a basic 5 or 6 question RTQ. And for those of you that are familiar with cap accounts, it's the same one that you use to generate the IPS for cap. I'm going to skip the questionnaire for now. If you skip the questionnaire, you'll notice there's only 2 questions you need to do. You choose the risk tolerance. So we're just going to do moderate aggressive, and we're going to do more than 10 years for the time horizon. We hit continue. Then we put in our starting amount. For this example, I'm going to do 250,000, and then we're going to pick our program. So you can see here, you have the option to pick advisor directed cap SAS, or UMA. For the tip of the month call here, I'm going to select advisor directed and select strategy. So what you see here, when you pick advisor directed, you can't actually add your individual positions. So you can't add your mutual funds, ETF, stocks, anything like that. What you can do is just pick a basic asset allocation. So based on the answers to the questions on the screen before, it's going to tell you the suggested allocation. You'll see here 70-30 and 80-20 is what they recommend. For the purposes of this call, I'm going to choose 80-20 and then save the account. Before I save the account, you'll see it lists the program fee. That's going to be your Wealthport program fee there. There's no way to essentially remove that from the plan and propose tool. So we'll save the account. Now, you do have the option to skip the illustration. We're not going to do that. The main point of this call is to show you the illustration. So we're going to go to the growth planner. Now you're going to add more details. Let's just say our client's 45 years old. We're not going to add the spouse. They're going to stay invested until age 67. The advisor fee is going to be a flat 1%. Once again, you see the other fees. That's the Wealthport program fee. Then you have your capital market assumptions. You can play with these. We'll take cash down a little bit, inflation down a little bit. We'll leave equity and fixed income where they're at. You can change your contributions. So let's just say that this person is depositing $200 a month in their account. We'll leave the box checked that adjusts yearly by 2%. So we'll say his contribution is going to go up by 2% each year. I'm going to leave this out, but what you do have the option to add more contributions. So maybe at the end of the year, the client gets a bonus and they add another $1,000. You can certainly do that in the system. We'll delete that for now. Then at the bottom, you can review all the facts that you've entered. Now we'll view the illustration. This graph's going to show us what our estimated ending value is after when the client turns in 22 years. So when the client started at 45, they ended at 67. So this is showing us the 22 years. going to show us the average value at the end of those 22 years, best case scenario, and then worst case scenario. And you'll see here it shows you today's dollars and future dollars. So today's dollars just showing you your buying power. If you were to switch over to future dollars, just shows you what it's actually going to be worth at the end of those 22 years. You have your return variance here. If you need to go back, maybe the client wants to edit something. Maybe they say, oh, instead of $200, I'm going to double that. I'm going to do $400 a month. You can go back and edit that information here at this page. We'll X out of that. So you see the graph here. You also have the option to switch over to the contributions chart, simply just showing you all the contributions that the clients made. So contributions for each period, and then a cumulative chart as well. So the only thing left to do here is to complete the illustration. We're going to complete it. Just have to add some details here. You pick your custodian, you select your account type. We'll just do traditional IRA. You want to put your rep code in here. I'm going to enter mine in there. Advisor name. You can include fee details on the documents. I'm not going to do that. You can also add a secondary client or add special instructions as well. We'll skip that for the call here as well. So we generate our documents. You're going to see it's going to give you two options. Once this loads, it'll give you the investment proposal and the investment policy statement, or IPS. We'll start with the proposal. This is just basically a recap of everything we just saw on the previous few pages. So you have your cover page, your risk tolerance, and then your scenario analysis as well. So just showing you everything that went into that graph, it's showing you on this investment proposal. Cap accounts will have a little more information because they have return history. Advisor directed does not, but that's the main page on the investment proposals right here under the scenario analysis. I'm going to X out of that. Those of you that do cap are familiar with the IPS. It's going to look exactly the same as it does with cap. You'll see here just a basic 4-page statement, client name, amount, account type, risk tolerance, investment strategy, and then a place for the client and the advisor to sign and date. Now, cap accounts, that's going to be required. If it's some other type of account, it's not required, but maybe be a good idea just for CYA to get that on file. I keep talking about cap accounts. Cap accounts come into play. As you know, you have to first start with the IPS before you can get into click and finish the account. This is what the send to click option is for. If it is a cap account that you need to finish out and click, that's the option that you're going to choose. I'm not going to do that on this call. All right, so if we go back to objective, now we're going to change over to distribution. We can keep maybe now that he's 67 and not 45, maybe he's bumped down his risk tolerance. We'll still keep, time horizon to 10 years here and continue. Now it's going to give you, we'll trash this 80-20 blend, and it's going to give you an updated suggestion for asset allocation. So now that the client's a little older, we'll pick more of a 50-50 blend over more of an equity tilted portfolio. We'll choose our 50-50 blend. He doesn't have 250,000 anymore. He's got a lot more. Let's just say he ended up with $1 million. We'll leave it as advisor directed. Save the account. Now we're going to go to the distribution planner. So this is going to ask you some different questions than the accumulation planner did. Now the client's 67 years old. They have a traditional IRA. Let's say they spend $60,000 a year adjusted for inflation. No, they're not going to spend only spend the RMD. They're going to start spending immediately at age 67. And let's just, the system's putting life expectancy at 18 years. So we'll put that at 18 years. We have our product selection, account fee, bump up to 1. We're still charging the client 1%. Calculation modes, you can go assumptions versus historical. We'll go with assumptions. Once again, we can play with these numbers a bit. When we get down here, you can also factor in the client's Social Security. Let's say this client's earning $25,000 a year in Social Security, starting at age 67, and no other income other than Social Security and the portfolio's income. Income tax rate, we'll leave that at 20. Long-term capital gains, we'll leave at 15. We'll include the RMD tax effects, and we have the option to choose between a traditional or beneficiary IRA. We're going to choose traditional for this one. Now, we're going to go ahead and view the illustration after reviewing all of our facts. And once again, you have another page with a graph. Now, this is more of a, you see this a lot with financial planning tools. It's going to show you the percentage chance you have of funding your retirement. This is showing you a 99% funded rate. Once again, you can change between today and future dollars. And then you have the various tabs at the top that go over your distribution planner. So you'll see down here below, it gives you your account income and your Social Security income, a breakdown there of where that income's coming from. And then also a nice cash flow report as well that you can run. Once again, you can edit the details if you need to. And you can complete your illustration like we did on the previous page. We'll leave these the same. Fidelity, traditional IRA, VB3, Sebastian Sullivan, none of these special details, and we'll generate the documents. Once again, you have two options, the investment proposal. It's going to look similar, but a little different than the accumulation planner. You'll see here the scenario analysis. Looks a lot different. And pretty much just copies over the charts that we had on the previous page over to the investment proposal. We'll X out that. And then once again, you also have the investment policy statement. Going to look exactly the same as the previous one. Place to sign and date if need be. So that's it for the plan and propose tool in Wealthport. We feel that it's an important tool and a helpful tool that you can use. If you have any questions about how to operate or use the tool, feel free to reach out to me, Sebastian Sullivan at Premier Wealth Management. Have a great day. Bye-bye.